All right, so in order to put on capillary film, there are a couple of things that we want to do. One, we want to have a build-up board. Build-up board could be sheet of plexiglass, glass, anything that's smooth, okay? This is the top of a pallet, which I really love. It's nice and smooth. We then cover it with newsprint, not newspaper, because newspaper will have been folded and all of those little wrinkles are going to show up, okay? We then take our capillary film. Now, capillary film is supposed to have a shelf life of about a year. I had stuff for 3, 4, 5 years that worked just fine. This is probably about 12 to 15 years old, so it's not going to work all that well, but it will for my demonstration. Capillary film comes in a variety of thicknesses, anywhere from about 12 microns to 80 microns. For most of you, if you're doing standard work, somewhere around 30 to 40 micron thickness would be great. If you're doing more athletic stuff, about 50 microns. The 80 is really too thick unless you're doing very specialized work. And that doesn't mean that capillary film doesn't come even higher, but that's for specialty work and it's not put on this way. So, there. Okay, the thing with capillary film is this is emulsion that's already sensitized, it's just not wet, so what you're paying for is what you need. You're not buying water, okay? One side is kind of dull. That's the emulsion side. The other side is shiny. That's the polyester backing, which is what I use on press. So if you're going to go this way, now the cost of this is roughly 4 times more, 3.5 times more than wet emulsion. Here's the big difference. It's controlled. If you took a scoop coater and coated a screen and you did and you did and you did, I get 4 different results because the speed and the amount of pressure used and the angle of that scoop coater, even though it may have a built-in angle, are going to put a different deposit down. Now, if I ask you all to put on my capillary film, I'm going to be very consistent because of the thickness. It's already controlled. 1/3 goes in, 2/3 sits proud, and so if this is cap 30, I'm going to have 20 microns above the mesh, plus whatever the thickness of the mesh is, this being a 110 mesh. 110 mesh is 80 microns, so my ink deposit will be 100 microns, or very close to it, just because I can do that kind of calculation. In any event, we're going to lay, now they're going to show you things, if you buy by the roll, there'll be a thing that says, oh, and you take your capillary film and you roll it over the top of the roller with the emulsion out. You take your screen, put it in the sink, you wet it, you then put your capillary film on, and you roll it down. And it isn't where I want it to be, and I got bubbles. Now what do I do? Live with it, okay? So rather than doing it that way, I like to lay it out, put it down. Now, I can take my screen and I can figure out exactly where I want it. I want it right there, okay? I need to get some towels, sorry. It's going to get a little wet, so.
Yeah, so the shiny part's out.
The shiny part is going to be phasing up because that's
Okay, we're going to talk about light sensitive right now. How long do you think it would take for this to expose in this light?
30 minutes.
Probably many hours, okay? Now, I do have fluorescents, which do have UV. The distance is massive, okay? So when you go down to the show floor and you buy a fluorescent system, if you're first getting started and your budget is such, you want a vacuum, that's good. You're going to take a dual exposing emulsion. And by the way, is this dual exposing or is this a 2-part or 1-part emulsion? No, it's a 2-part, it's green. Green will turn blue. Pure polymers come 2 ways, blue or red. Starts red, stays starts blue, stays blue because they're primary colors, they can't change. This is secondary color, it'll turn to a primary. The yellow will go away, I'll be left with the blue. So that's how you can tell very quickly, okay? But in any event, I lost track of where I was. This is what happens when you get older. You just kind of lose it. Huh?
Exposure.
Okay, so I have a fluorescent system, I buy it, I use a dual exposing emulsion. It's gonna take me 10, 12 minutes from this far away. Now my light is up there. The way it goes, it's a mathematical algorithm that, you know, at 1 foot takes 1 minute, at 2 feet it takes 2 minutes, at 3 feet it takes 4 minutes, and so on, because it starts to project itself out. The further you are, the longer it takes, okay? One of the things you do in your own place to check out whether you're light tight, you know, light safe or not, take a coated screen and go to the area where you feel you have the most vulnerability, okay? So wherever the light seems to be maybe leaking in. Put your screen down, take pennies, because you can't go with quarters because somebody will steal those. So you put a penny down, put a circle around it, you put the time of day. And every hour, put another penny down, okay? At the end of the day, take all your pennies, put them back in your pocket, take your screen to the sink, and wash it out. If I'm light safe, what'll happen?
Nothing.
Everything
All the same.
washes off. If I'm not, I'm gonna get polka dots. Based on the number of polka dots, I know how many hours I'm safe for. Should you be less than totally safe, make adjustments. In today's world, you can buy fluorescent lighting. They have clear UV-resistant tubes that go over them, so even though you have white light, you're not getting UV. UV exposes your screens, not the light. In general, we used to use yellow. We also used to use red years ago. The problem with red, you can't see what the hell you're doing. You walk into walls with red, so not the best idea. All right. How's your trigger finger? Your lefty or righty? Good, that's not your trigger finger. Come to here. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Starting here, no. Starting here, we're gonna start to spray, we're gonna work our way and watch everything just kind of come up, so go for it. Hard, come on. Yeah, we do have to do one thing, we have to kind of play to the fact that this is not the best situation. And we have dirt and stuff on it. Okay, how's that look? Go for it. All right, and some up there. Good, how's that look now? Terrific, we need some work done there. Good, okay. The only reason I have you do that is because I'm way too lazy. But this is what I really like, is I get to use my big squeegee. Excess water comes off. Okay, get rid of our newsprint because we don't need that anymore. Soak up some of this water. Take a paper towel, we'll wipe all of this. Wipe our rollers.
The shiny side was facing the table, and the dull side with the stuff on it was facing the bottom of the screen.
Right, and that's what's getting sucked in, okay? Yeah, the shiny side is polyester, that's gonna come off later on. All right, just to get rid of wetness. Now again, this screen wasn't degreased, and obviously, you should never have carpeting in your screen room. It creates dust and static electricity, neither of which you really want. So that piece of dust I can't do anything about. Fairly even? Perfectly.
What am I doing?
Just look up and see how even everything is.
Oh,